I actually just pulled this up. Like, I don't know if they're comfortable getting their name shared on Zoom, so I won't do it. But someone reached out to me with some specific, someone that works in analytics for a college, reached out to me with some questions about war. And a few of them are fairly nuanced questions that I'll probably take some of my time and write up a little bit. But I thought it'd actually be kind of fun and, loop back to, since we've mentioned war for a couple episodes running now, I could answer a few of them online, like on the spot now. I'm looking at them. And save me about 4 minutes of work, I guess, just sending them this recording and potentially get a new R&D podcast fan.
Yeah.
But also things that other people are wondering about. So, if you guys are down, I can drop a couple like 3 to 5 minute blurbs on this. But I have some of his questions. So the email is titled, and it's totally on the spot. The email is titled "Question about War and Other Advanced Analytics." This guy really politely reached out to me over Twitter. I gave him my email, so he reached out. So his first question is,
it's a pretty big qualifier at the end of that title. It'd be pretty sweet if you got an email that was just titled "Questions about War."
Yeah,
just like whoa.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Yeah. The first line is just like, my thoughts are, going back to the Crusades. It's always been. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
So his first question is, how did you initially go about compiling all the statistics from across all levels of D1? Where did you get the information from? Was there a specific program used? And I've actually gone this question a little bit over time, whether in Twitter DMs or just like even people internally. And we basically scraped play-by-play data for D1, D2, and D3. And there was actually a open repository as well that we accessed. I think I sent the link to a guy on Twitter, but I'll probably link it in the description. It is, let's see. Probably not gonna find it right now, but it's someone already has a repository on GitHub where they have. Oh, here we go. Okay, so the guy's name is actually Dav Miller, and he has a GitHub page, and it's a play-by-play scraper, and it's an R. Okay. His next question is there a way to change the general league averages to divide them by conference? Would that change the outcome of actual war by player? That would change the average war by player, because then the replacement level is going to be completely different based on the conferences. Which it might be worth you doing that for investigating like inter conference different values, because some teams will face different schedules. We did accommodate for this by incorporating strength of schedule, which is something that is not incorporated in MLB WAR. So it's actually the reason we did that. We did it specifically to avoid having the wide variance in level of play between conferences.
Yeah.
And then he had a couple questions on our guts page, which I don't know if you guys saw that or if you guys know what I mean when I say guts. But like sabermetrically speaking, if you go to Fangraphs, you look at stuff like guts, it'll have coefficients for each year, because like, in a year a single might be worth a different value, stuff like that, like kind of relevant to what I was giving you, Brady, for ELO. Each play will have different like coefficients and scales and everything. So he had a couple questions about guts. So so he asked about like the environment and run differential and team factor, or park factor he's probably talking about. And there is a park factor calculation. We talked about it in our introduction to cWAR. So I don't want to get too much into it and too detailed, but basically in the grand scheme of things, park factor is a way to normalize the scoring environment, because in some parks it's easier to score runs. Some are pitcher parks. So we want to smooth out people's statistics across those parks, so they're not biased by a pitcher pitching in a very pitcher friendly park.
It also accounts for difference in like calibration or measurement.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And we in our WAR, we actually adjusting FIP and not RA9 or ERA. So the park factor will be regressed even heavier to avoid overfitting on a metric that doesn't consider non-home run balls in play, because FIP is already supposed to be taking in consideration like the park a little bit out of it.
Yeah.
So if we weren't using FIP, we'd actually use park factors. We'd actually regress Like we actually use park factors even more. So next question is he talks about run expectancy and how like that coaching staff is interested in run expectancy. So this is probably a question I'll have to give him a bit more detailed of an answer writing up. But he asks, based on the run expectancy chart, would you say that this philosophy of continuously throwing strikes is advantageous for us, or would you think that there's maybe a better way of going about things? Because he talks about like, should throw strikes in each count. I would say yeah. I mean, like you can get kind of lost in looking at stuff like RE 288, which is each like count, each possible count by each possible number of outs by the bases being full. And actually, I think this is a good time I could potentially impromptu screen share here. Again, unplanned screen share, but maybe we can clip this segment out. Okay. Toss your boy a bone.
That's gonna be up to Lindley.
Okay, got it. So, yep. This is an RE 288. Here are the counts. Here are the bases full combinations, and here are the outs. So this is essentially like you'll notice this is the highest run expectancy value, which makes sense, right? Count 3-0, bases loaded, 0 outs, and something like 0-2, no runners on, 2 outs should be the lowest. So that's probably around here, right? Mm-hmm. So again, a lot of this is used not necessarily for someone, I don't think it makes sense for someone trying to gear their approach based on the difference between like a 3-0, 3-1 count. As much, I think that's a little bit, you can get way too granular with it. And a lot of this is used specifically for building cohesive advanced analytics and stats. So I don't think you should impact your general game plan based on run expectancy. Rather, use that to evaluate like performance, if that makes sense, and like success of pitches. Again, like on a general sense, like you average out run expectancies. Don't worry about so much of like, okay, this guy, how does the curveball compare on a 3-0 count versus the fastball, so forth. So again, would not worry too much about that stuff. A couple more questions about the count. Like I said, I'll answer those a bit more. And then here's a really interesting question. Is there a way to properly predict how their numbers will translate at that next level? Are there any specific numbers that give you a better indication of which players will be successful? Do you believe there's a correlation between a higher WAR in college and a successful major league career? Is there a way of proving it by finding the collegiate WAR for players in the post-juiced bat era? The answer is yes. The longer answer is yes, and it's still something we're working on, although we have put some stuff out there. And if you look at some of there are existing draft models that look at like, minor league WAR and then major league WAR and build models based off that. There are very few that have done college WAR, and it's something that we actually were thinking about pushing. We just couldn't push it in time for the actual draft. But the way to go about it, and the way we will go about it, is also because we only have cWAR going back a few years. We have cWAR. We have some people with cWAR all the way back to 2013, but it's only like 2017 on that we have position players, pitchers, right, across all conferences. So those players don't really have major league. There might be a few, probably like a handful of people, right?
Very rarely are they at the league level right now.
Yeah. So the answer really is we need to get more backlog data all the way back to 2013 to really be able to tell. But
need more time for like major league data.
Yeah, exactly. Because someone can have a poor first 2 years and then still become an all-star, still have a different a full career.
Yeah.
So I believe that there's certainly but like the short answer is what we could be doing is linking WAR in college to their scouting grade, what they have even through the minors, right? Because scouting grades will adjust. Someone will come in, maybe they're 40 future value, then they'll be like 50 future value after a year in single A, whatever. So that is actually what we were planning on doing.
Gotcha.
Ran out of time a little bit, shift around some priorities, but that is essentially the quicker feedback loop of what we would do for that. So that's basically all the questions. like I said, I'll get to some details on the count and stuff in his email. But thanks for the questions. I'll send you this if you want me to drop your name on a podcast. I will next episode. And at the very least, you listening to this is going to guarantee us at least one more view.
Yeah.
Anyways, as we were.